You've been living inside a story that was written long before you had the awareness to question it. From childhood, your identity was shaped by voices, experiences, and patterns that told you who you were allowed to be. You were given a name, a role, a set of rules about what was possible. And somewhere along the way, you mistook this bundle of inherited perceptions for the truth of you. Right now, as you listen, you are carrying that identity like a suit you never took off. It feels familiar, but it's also the single greatest limitation on the reality you experience. Every time you try to manifest something beyond what your identity believes you deserve or can hold, you find yourself hitting invisible walls. Those walls are not in the outer world. They are the edges of the self-image you've been unconsciously maintaining. Here's the truth. The quantum field has been whispering all along. Reality doesn't respond to the identity you wish you had. It responds to the identity you are being right now, not just in thought, but in the deep resonant frequency that your body, your subconscious, and your energy field are broadcasting. This is why you can visualize for hours, repeat affirmations until you're hoarse, and still feel like nothing changes. You're trying to paint a new picture over the old canvas without removing the original image. The field reads, the underpainting, the vibration of who you believe yourself to be, and mirrors it without judgment. Stepping beyond the old identity begins with awareness. You have to see the costume you've been wearing to take it off. Notice the ways you describe yourself. I'm not the kind of person who, that's just how I am. I've always struggled with. These are not facts. They're codes. Each phrase is a frequency marker, keeping you tethered to a particular timeline. Quantum reality operates in infinite possibilities. Your old identity is simply the possibility you've been tuned to most consistently. Change the identity, you change the entire set of probabilities available to you. This isn't self-help fluff. It's alignment with the most fundamental law of the field. Like attracts, like at the level of vibration. Think of yourself as both the sculptor and the marble. The old self-image is a shape that was chiseled by years of conditioning. To reveal the quantum self, you don't need to add more stone. You need to carve away everything that isn't the true form. Every belief that says you're small, unworthy, or powerless is excess material. Every memory that tells you the future must repeat the past is just a layer of dust. You've had glimpses of this truer self before, moments when you felt unstoppable, lit from within, moving through life as if the world were bending toward you. Maybe it was a creative breakthrough, a connection that felt destined, a sudden stroke of luck that felt more like precision. In those moments, you weren't straining to be someone new. You were simply being more of who you already are, beneath the limits. That was your quantum self breaking through the cracks. To step into this self permanently, you must give yourself permission to let go of the old identity, not piece by piece over decades, but in a single clear decision. That decision is an energetic act. The moment you declare, I am no longer available for the version of me who lives in limitation, the field begins reorganizing to match the new broadcast. Of course, the ego will resist. The old self will try to pull you back with familiar emotions, doubt, fear, shame, the comfort of the known. But understand this, these are not signs you're failing. They're signs you're succeeding. The old identity is destabilizing, and like any structure being dismantled, it will shake before it falls. This is why the first step in activating your quantum self is not adding new habits or chasing new outcomes, but consciously releasing the self-image that's been anchoring you to the old reality. When you do, you're no longer manifesting from the weight of the past. You're manifesting from the freedom of the now, and in the quantum now, anything is possible. Feel into that for a moment. Imagine walking into tomorrow without the labels, without the "that's just how I am," without the reflex to measure the future by the past. You're not changing who you are. You're revealing who you've been all along. The field is already responding. Every version of you, past, present, and potential, exists as a unique vibrational signature in the quantum field. Think of it like a fingerprint made of light, one that encodes not just your personality, but your emotions, beliefs, choices. When you shift your identity, you are in truth shifting this signature. Once the signature changes, the field must deliver a matching experience. This is the hidden bridge between thought and matter. Your vibration is not just a byproduct of your mood, it is your calling card to the universe. When you consciously match the energetic code of your desired reality, the quantum field doesn't grant it to you like a reward. It simply aligns you with what was always there waiting for your signal. Most people try to approach this from the outside in. They chase external markers, hoping that once they get the relationship, the wealth, the health, then they'll feel abundant, loved, or whole. But quantum reality flips the sequence. You must generate the frequency first, then watch as the external reshapes itself around it. To understand this picture, a radio dial. Each station is already broadcasting its own signal. You don't create the station when you tune to it. You simply match its frequency. In the same way, the reality you desire already exists as a broadcast in the quantum field. Your job is to match the signal. Matching your quantum signature begins with sensing it. Close your eyes and imagine the version of you who already lives the life you're calling in. Don't just see them, feel them. How do they breathe? How do they carry themselves? What thoughts arise easily for them? How does their body feel at rest? What's the emotional undercurrent in their day? Now here's where the real shift happens. Instead of waiting for circumstances to give you permission to feel that way, you start feeling it now. Even for just a few minutes at a time, you allow your nervous system to experience the state of already being there. The quantum field responds to this as if it's reality, because to the field it is. This isn't about faking it. It's about inhabiting the truth that the version of you you're imagining is not separate. They're a frequency match away. Each time you generate their state, even briefly, you strengthen the resonance. The external reality starts reorganizing to close the gap. Ancient alchemists understood this in symbolic form. They spoke of the magnum opus, the great work of turning lead into gold, a process not only about metals, but about transmuting the base states of fear, doubt, and separation into the golden states of unity, confidence, and love. In modern language, they were describing vibrational refinement. When you align your signature with your desired reality, you also begin to notice what disrupts it. Certain conversations, environments, or thought loops will suddenly feel heavier, as if they're pulling you out of tune. This is a good sign. It means you're becoming sensitive to your own frequency. You can then make conscious choices to protect and strengthen it. There's a moment in this process that feels almost magical, the point where you no longer feel like you're trying to hold the frequency. You simply are it. Your body, your thoughts, your energy field, they've all adjusted to the new code. That's when reality starts to shift in undeniable ways. Synchronicities pile up. People respond to you differently. Opportunities that once seemed out of reach appear naturally in your path. This is the essence of quantum entanglement in your daily life. Just as entangled particles respond instantly to changes in one another, your aligned self in the now begins influencing the timeline of your future self. The two become indistinguishable. The transition between them becomes seamless. So the work here is clear. Stop asking when it will happen and start asking how you can embody it now. The moment you hold the frequency steadily enough, The outer world won't be able to tell whether you've become your quantum self or you've simply always been them. And in truth, both are correct. Beneath every conscious choice you make lies the architecture of your subconscious mind, a vast network of impressions, memories, and emotional imprints silently shaping the way you show up in the world. It is here in this hidden realm that the true work of shifting into your quantum self begins. Your subconscious is not a thinking entity in the way your conscious mind is. It does not analyze, debate, or rationalize. It records. It absorbs patterns from repeated experiences, especially those charged with strong emotion. It treats them as the blueprint for your life. This is why so many of your desires seem to stall before they gain momentum. The conscious mind is speaking one command, while the subconscious is broadcasting another older one, often rooted in lack, fear, or limitation. The quantum field does not prioritize the loudest voice, it responds to the most consistent signal. If your subconscious programming hums at a certain frequency, that's the tone that ripples through the field no matter how many affirmations you recite. This is why reprogramming the subconscious is non-negotiable for activating your quantum self. Reprogramming is not about force. It's about introducing new patterns until they become the dominant code. Imagine the subconscious as a deep river. For years, it's flowed along the same path, carving grooves into the earth. You can't just order it to change course. You must create a new channel, allow the water to gradually flow there until it becomes the natural route. The bridge between the conscious and subconscious is feeling. Thought alone won't rewrite the code. It must be coupled with an emotional state that the subconscious can register as real. This is why visualizing your quantum self works best when you engage all the senses, the warmth of the sunlight on their skin, the sound of their laughter, the calm in their chest when they breathe. Every sensory and emotional detail you layer in deepens the imprint. This is also why old imprints resist change. They're infused with strong feelings. A belief like "I'm not safe to be seen" might have been cemented by a humiliating experience in youth, charged with the heat of shame. To overwrite it, you must pair the new belief with equal or greater emotional energy, the joy of being recognized, the empowerment of speaking your truth, the expansive relief of belonging. Ancient mystics knew this truth. They wrapped teachings in rituals, music, symbols, and storytelling because they understood that transformation happens when the whole system, mind, heart, body, experiences the shift. In modern practice, this might look like combining affirmations with breathwork movement or gratitude practices, so the body feels the new code, not just hears it. As you begin to reprogram, the subconscious will test your commitment. Old patterns may surface more vividly, almost as if daring you to slip back into them. This is not sabotage. It's the mind's way of asking, are we truly done with this? When these moments come, meet them with awareness, not judgment. See them as the final echoes of an identity you no longer choose to inhabit. One of the most powerful methods for anchoring the new code is repetition in states of lowered brainwave activity, the moments just before sleep or immediately upon waking. In these times, your mind is in the theta state, highly receptive, with the gate between conscious and subconscious wide open. Here, you can feed in the frequency of your quantum self without the resistance of the analytical mind. With each repetition, each emotionally charged image, you are laying new tracks. Over time, the old ones fade from disuse. Your subconscious, once the silent guardian of your old identity, becomes the most loyal ally of your new one. It begins broadcasting the quantum signature you've chosen not by effort, but by default. This is when the shift becomes undeniable. You no longer have to remind yourself to think or act as your quantum self. You simply are them. Your outer world reflects it in ways that feel almost eerie in their precision. The right conversations, the unexpected invitations, the timely opportunities. What once felt like chance now feels like confirmation. And all of it began the moment you decided to rewrite the code at the deepest level. There comes a point in your transformation where imagining your quantum self is no longer enough. You must begin living from them now. Not someday, not when certain milestones are met, but in this exact breath. This is the bridge between alignment and embodiment. The version of you that exists in the quantum field, fully aligned with your highest potential, is not waiting for a perfect set of conditions to show up. They already inhabit the life you want. To activate that reality, you have to move through your current one as if the shift has already happened. This is not pretending it's embodying the frequency until it becomes your baseline. In quantum terms, you are collapsing the wave of infinite possibilities into the one you've chosen through consistent observation and experience. The more you feel from the state of your quantum self, the more you reinforce that reality in the field. Eventually, the external world can no longer maintain the old reflection. It must reorganize to match your internal state. To do this, begin by asking yourself a simple but powerful question throughout the day. If I were already my quantum self, how would I respond right now? This question bypasses the old habits and invites you to step directly into the identity you've been cultivating. If your quantum self speaks calmly in situations where the old you would react, practice that calm now. If your quantum self takes inspired action without overthinking, move in that rhythm now. Living from the future now is also about environment. The spaces you inhabit, the people you interact with, the inputs you allow, all of these either strengthen or dilute your frequency. You don't have to cut yourself off from the world, but you do need to curate your reality in a way that supports your embodiment. Spend more time in places that elevate you. Seek conversations that expand your thinking. Limit the inputs that drag you back into your old vibration. At first, this embodiment can feel like a stretch. The ego may whisper, "You're not there yet. This isn't real." But remember, the ego's job is to keep you tethered to the known. It equates familiarity with safety, even if that familiarity is dissatisfaction. The more you choose the responses and behaviors of your quantum self, the more natural they become, until the ego no longer has evidence to argue with. A crucial aspect of living from the future now is emotional congruence. You cannot simply go through the motions of your quantum self's life. You must carry the emotional state that matches it. If your quantum self is rooted in ease, practice generating that ease before you step into action. If they are abundant, let your body feel the security of abundance now before the bank balance changes. This emotional match is the tuning fork that calls the external reality into harmony. Think of actors who fully embody a role. For the duration of filming, they live, breathe, and think as the character. Their body language changes their habits, shift their perception, adapts until the line between the role and the actor blurs. That is the kind of immersion you bring to embodying your quantum self. Except here, the role isn't fiction. It's the truest version of you brought into physical expression. As you hold this embodiment, something subtle yet profound begins to happen. You stop waiting for your reality to change. The sense of lack dissolves because you are no longer in the vibration of separation. You are living as if you have already crossed the threshold. The quantum field mirrors that wholeness. Opportunities, resources, and connections that once seemed distant start showing up in uncanny alignment. This is the sweet spot where manifestation becomes less about effort and more about inevitability. You're no longer sending mixed signals to the field. At this stage, you may notice others responding to you differently. They might describe you as lighter, more grounded, or glowing. They may not understand why, but they are sensing the resonance. Your frequency is broadcasting a new signature. It's drawing in everything that matches. Living from the future now is not a temporary experiment. It's a decision to make your chosen identity permanent. From here, the final step is learning to sustain that shift even when life tests you, and it will. Once you've stepped into your quantum self, the real art is sustaining it, holding that alignment steady when life offers you every excuse to slip back into the old vibration. This is where mastery is forged. Sustaining the quantum shift is not about being perfect. It's about coherence, keeping your thoughts, emotions, actions in harmony with the identity you've chosen, even when the external world still carries traces of your old reality. Remember, there's often a lag between the moment you shift internally and the moment the field fully reflects it back to you. That lag is not failure. It's a test of your stability. The ego will use this window to lure you back with familiar patterns: doubt, impatience, the urge to make something happen through force. These are the old identity's survival instincts resurfacing as one last pull toward the known. Your job is not to fight them, but to recognize them as echoes, noise without substance, and return to your chosen frequency. This is where daily practices become your anchor. Morning alignment, rituals, breathwork, meditation, movement, gratitude, conscious visualization. These are not chores, they are frequency maintenance. Just as a musician tunes their instrument before playing, you tune your energy before stepping into the day. It doesn't have to be long, it just has to be consistent. Another key to sustaining your shift is emotional neutrality in the face of contrast. When something unfolds that doesn't match your desired reality, don't label it as a setback. See it as feedback. The quantum field is always adjusting to your broadcast. Sometimes old probabilities still play out as they dissolve. By staying neutral, or better yet curious, you prevent the emotional drop that would pull you out of resonance. Surrounding yourself with resonance is equally vital. The people, environments, and inputs you allow into your space will either reinforce your quantum identity or erode it. Seek out those who hold you in your highest vision, not those who subtly pull you back to the version of yourself they're most comfortable with. If you can't find that in your physical environment, yet curate it through books, audio community spaces, and intentional solitude. Over time, sustaining the shift becomes less about holding on and more about simply living. Your nervous system adapts to the new frequency until it's not something you practice, it's who you are. At this stage, the quantum self isn't a state you visit, it's home. From this space, manifestation stops being a separate practice. You no longer do manifestation. You are manifestation. Every thought, every micro-decision, every perception is aligned with your chosen reality. The field mirrors you with precision because there's no static in your signal. So we come to the distilled truth: you don't manifest what you want. You manifest what you are. Think of it like a lighthouse. A lighthouse doesn't chase ships. It doesn't negotiate with the sea. It stands in its beam, steady and unwavering. The ships find it because it's impossible not to. Your quantum self is that beam. The more steadily you shine, the more everything meant for you arrives with ease. Use this checklist as your gentle guide to align your thoughts, actions, environment with the frequency you choose to live in. 1. Begin the day with 5 to 10 minutes of fully feeling breathing as your quantum self. 2. Notice when old patterns surface. Label them as echoes and return to your chosen state. 3. Choose one action each day that your quantum self would take, no matter how small. 4. Curate your environment to reinforce your frequency. 5. End the day with gratitude for moments you embodied your quantum identity. So here's my invitation in the comments: write one word that captures the energy you're choosing to live from now. Freedom, abundance, clarity, love. Let it be your declaration to yourself, to the field. If this journey has ignited something in you, subscribe not to follow passively, but to join a movement of minds and hearts, actively reshaping reality. You are not just a viewer here, You are a participant in the unfolding of your highest self. Keep tuning, keep aligning, keep living as the frequency you choose. And remember, this reality isn't happening to you. It's happening through you. The moment you decide who you are being, the universe will meet you there.